Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
We sure are.
We sure are. Hey, folks, it is Saturday, December 17th, 2021. It's the final time I get to say 2021 on this show. And this is Grapsody, and I am Will Washington, but I'm not alone here. I'm joined by my dude, Mr. Philip Lindsey.
Hope you guys have had a great week of wrestling, and of course, Spider-Man. What's going on?
Yep, and also here is Righteous Reg.
Yes, in the building, Double R. You know what it is. Your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. We in the building, man. It's Grapsody. It's Saturday morning. What's good, y'all?
What's good? I don't know if y'all can hear my kids being wild as hell in the background.
It's Saturday morning.
It's Saturday morning. I'm like texting my wife right now, like, make them stop. But yeah, and
Bill just hit a doomsday device.
Yeah, probably. That's the thing is that these two like wrestle all day long. Now, here's the funny thing though is that Billy stayed home 2 days sick this week, and for the first time ever, I had to send them back to school because like Wednesday he was believably sick. I get that. Thursday morning, though, and I work from home, and I have since the pandemic. I can't believe I'm going on 2 years working from home. I haven't been in the office in nearly 2 years. But, yeah, so we're sitting at home, and I am catching up on stuff I missed from Dynamite on Thursday morning because I went to the Nuggets game Wednesday. Speaking of which, the streak is over. I've now seen a loss. Or I guess I haven't seen a loss because I left in the fourth quarter.
I see what you're doing here.
I left with probably 10 minutes left. So I'm like, there's no way. And sure enough, there wasn't. Although the Timberwolves, they're doing good. But anyway, so I'm watching Dynamite, and Billy has this thing where when he watches wrestling, he can't like not want to do moves. And so, because he got like last birthday, he got like this big ass stuffed bear, and he just like does every move to it, right? And so this kid supposed to be homesick, and we get like probably halfway through Hangman and Brian, and Billy starts dragging his bear outside, and I'm like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "I'm going to go wrestle," and I'm like, "You're supposed to be at school right now. What do you mean I'm about to go wrestle?" And he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna wrestle lightly," and I'm like,
he's like, "Have you seen this match, Dad? Look at this match that we're watching. I'm inspired. I need to do a 5-star classic myself."
And so I'm like, "Go put some clothes on. You're going to school late." And he put some clothes on, and I did. I actually sent him to school.
Wow. Damn it, Brian Danielson! Look what you did.
I mean, I will say, my daughter was asking. She had been asking like all day because initially she wasn't feeling good in the morning, and then she remembered like, oh, today's where like they're picking everybody for choir, and she's like, I can't miss that. And she's like, Dad, I need to go to school, and I'm like, you can't go to school now. You're supposed to be sick. And so I ended up sending my kids to school late. It's like the first time I've ever done that. Because you know what, man, I don't know about you guys, but when I was home from school on a weekday, obviously every day was weekday, but when I was home from school, I didn't have, like, one, my parents did not let me play any of my video games, but two, like, I didn't have Netflix or none of that shit. Of course, you guys didn't either.
Not at all.
Yeah, so, like, staying home for me was, like, watching The Price is Right and Maury. And
it was kind of boring, man. It's just, like, daytime talk shows.
Yeah, I watched soap operas. Like, that was all I had to watch.
Yeah.
It was just whatever was on local TV. That was my staying home from school. And so I don't know. They just have like endless entertainment when they're staying home from school, and I'm like, nah. You know what? I'm gonna make you guys watch local TV. You are still gonna watch Maury just because that's what I had to watch.
Is Maury still happening?
Is it? I don't know.
Maury getting that coin, man. You
I
are
think so.
Still the father. It's like 50 years later, you're still the father. I mean, that's going to be that forever.
Yeah.
That's an endless concept. Could be 20 years from now. He's still like, you are the father.
I don't know how
yours.
The concept could ever disappear.
Only TV show I don't know still going is Catfish. Like, how is Catfish still? How is there new seasons of this show, bro? Like, FaceTime me right now. What game are we playing? We all got brand new cell phones, and if you can't FaceTime me, why are we can't talk to each other? What are you talking about?
I feel that, right? Like, how are people still getting catfished in an age where literally every messaging app has the ability to video call?
I'm saying, press
and like,
enter
if somebody's
right
like,
now.
"Hey, this is Seth Rollins right now," I'll be like, "Okay, Seth Rollins, call me."
Prove it.
Yeah. Like, oh, I can't call you right now. Like,
yeah, no, you can't. You're lying.
No, I'm just gonna wait until the scam is already finished and then trying to show up to Brooklyn and beat you up.
Yeah. I mean, that's some dedication, I guess, man.
But hey, everybody. And I want to make sure if you're joining us here on Grapsody, one, I want to thank you for being with us on your Saturday, and I want you guys to chat with us, be a part of the show. And the way you can do that, there's a couple of ways. We prefer Humper Chats, humperchats.com. Send those to us. Donate us your Humper Chats, and we'll read them right here on the show. And then also there's Super Chats as well on YouTube. You can always send us those. We got a few of those to read, as a matter of fact. Let's see. We got Shaddy says, y'all watching Smack Volume 9 today?
I'm probably going to watch a little bit of that. Yep, definitely. It's a big night for shows. Who's going to watch that boxing fight, too? The Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley rematch.
Tired of the balls, man. I like
those two. Like,
that's so funny. Yeah, it's a setup. It's wrestling, but
yeah, it's
boxing,
definitely
so.
wrestling.
It's wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. D-Lo said, staying home was video games, hoping my mom went to Blockbuster the other day and her bringing me breakfast, and she was the GM from McDonald's.
Wow, D-Lo, it was lit for
It
D-Lo.
was lit.
Egg McMuffins all around.
Nah, we wouldn't get none of that.
No, my mom stayed at home for the most part. My mom was a fitness instructor, so she like taught classes like in the afternoons, but for the most part, she's a stay-at-home mom. So, I maybe got like oatmeal or something.
Yeah, some cream of wheat. Eat this cream of wheat and go back to bed.
Yeah, my mom's
Netflix.
like,
It's crazy out here, man. WWE Network. It's crazy. I used to think when WWE Network was popular, I was like, if I was 10 years old and WWE Network existed, I would cry every single day of my life.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
There's so much to watch. I miss it because I don't use Peacock nearly as much.
I don't use Peacock at all.
I don't have Peacock, so when they went to Peacock, I was like, I'm good here. I'm not gonna switch over.
So wait, how do you watch the pay-per-views?
What's that? I told you I haven't given WWE a dime in a long time. I make
you
it
gave
happen,
up $35.
Okay? That was the last time, and the last time, you sons of bitches.
I did think about it because, of course, SmackDown was here in Chicago, and I was like, all right. And then so I was watching it, and it got to that Corbin segment. I was like, yeah, glad I didn't pull up for this one.
I wasn't even watching the show. My friend that he watches AEW and he'll watch WWE sometimes. He just texted, what is this bullshit going on SmackDown? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not watching.
I just, who is the Corbin stuff for? I just don't understand. Like, who thinks that's funny?
Vince McMahon's specialty right there. Madcap Moss or whatever.
And
he
let me
loves
tell
that.
you,
he's probably laughing so hard at that.
Let me tell you, I love corny ass jokes. It's my favorite thing in the world. If I can make, especially my daughter, go, when I tell a joke, I know I've won. And I hate those Madcap Moss segments. Like, awful. I can't stand. They're so bad. They're so bad. I guess the other thing beforehand, without spoiling, but I know all three of us saw Spider-Man, but only two of us here are like big MCU guys.
Yeah. I haven't watched Spider-Man. I think the last one I saw was Toby #2. So
Toby #2.
When was that? I don't even remember. I used to like the video game, so I was like, I'll watch it, but like, I don't know. But yeah, I watched it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I had a lot of fun. And I saw you have fun too. Although, Reg, the thing I wanted to talk about, it's like, we're not going to talk about any spoilers. So we don't have to worry about that. We're not going to talk about like people who showed up in the movie. Yeah. Nothing like that.
I hate spoilers. I would never.
Yeah. But what I did, I mean, I will say there's a moratorium here. Like, after a while, you know, it was okay to say, all right, Darth Vader is Luke's father. Like, right? Like, at some point, everybody knew that.
The Sixth Sense, like, everybody knew what, like, it had been 20 years. Like, you know that he sees dead people or whatever. Like, it's lit.
And in this case, you don't have long, so go see it. Because at some point, it's just going to be a thing people talk about. Mm-hmm. So that said, I'm curious though, Reg. You saw it, but your movie theater experience. So like, it's very clear to me that you don't go see Marvel movies because this is normal shit, right? Like people pop in theaters.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was very surprised. I was embarrassed. I wanted to leave. I wanted to get out of there. After the first one, I was like, I told my friend, let me out. I got to get out of here. I can't be a part of this. What's going on? Why are they clapping? What are you guys clapping for? They can't hear you up there. This is a movie. It's a movie screen. When you're clapping for yourself. I don't know what the hell's going on here. It was very confusing. I was nervous, sad, and scared at the same time. But then I learned that, this is what they do. They're excited. They're popping for big moves like me when I see a Hurricane Rana followed by a Canadian Destroyer. Yeah, that was cool. I get it.
That's how
I get it.
That's how it is. And
then boom, pow. It all correlated together. MCU is the WWE universe, and I wanted to leave even more. I'm like, get me out of here. This is just the WWE. They're like, it's like there's a big production, there's fireworks and there's explosions and there's cameos and there's all these things and there's this stuff. And it's just a big WWE show. And I was like, this is, Look, if WWE had a blueprint, if there was like there was a comic book history that WWE can go off, they do, but they're awful at it. It would just be the same thing. But like, essentially, like, these things only feel good to me because they have a blueprint to follow. Like, if it was just writers writing, I'd be like, this is awful. Because, like, I like the movie, but also at the same time, I don't really watch a lot of big budget movies. So, like, I was like, this is just a WWE show. The jokes are corny as fuck. The people are just like, it's like they're hitting their marks. Hit your X right here. Say the joke. Oh, say the thing. It's just like,
say the thing.
It's great, man. I will tell you.
I get it. I know why people like it. It's the same reason why people like WWE.
No, I can't. No.
It's not though, because
it is.
No, because it's not so much because like the stuff people are applauding and laughing at are like rewards for having watched the previous stuff. So
WWE
like
does the same thing, bro.
Yes and no, because I've been waiting for a payoff for this Naomi stuff since at least September. And,
I mean, we can't.
I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine if you were like waiting for?
You can't say black people. There ain't no black people getting payoffs in these movies. There ain't no black people getting payoffs. What do you mean? Boom, surprise.
What do you mean? Did you not see Black Panther? What's going on with you?
Look, you're acting like them. Did you not see Big E? Did you not see the 4 times that there's been a WWE champion? I'm telling y'all, correlations.
No, because there's Falcon. There's that. Like, but here's the thing. I'll say this. I love these movies because like I've been. As a matter of fact, you're in Spider-Man. I'm in Cap. But I just realized when we showed up, I wasn't even thinking about it either. I just threw on a shirt because
now they're Avengers. I'm fighting the damn Avengers.
You are fighting the Avengers. Look, I love these movies because I do feel like they continue to be a gigantic reward for having been with them since the beginning. I've seen every single one of them. Actually, I haven't seen the Eternals. But for the most part, I've seen it all. I've seen every Netflix show. I've seen all the Disney Plus shows. And each time, there's just a tiny little reward for having Well, and you could tell the level of pop is how much of a reward it was for certain things. If it's like, oh, here's a tiny little payoff that that people may not have paid much attention to, then it's like you maybe hear like 4 or 5 people go, oh. But then if it's like something everybody saw, then it's yes. But either way, they all
I'm totally just trolling you guys. I think it's super cool. Like, I like wrestling, so like it's hard to be like, yo, you guys are big dorks. I cheer for 2 sweaty guys fighting for an hour. I think it's amazing. It's great. So
it is my favorite, man.
I mean, and like it's so much content to be able to indulge in. Like, I'm kind of jealous that I don't know anything.
And
but I mean, it wasn't
too.
really super hard to follow along with Spider-Man because, you know, Spider-Man is Spider-Man. Like, I've seen Spider-Man the cartoon, and I see what was going on there. So yeah, I did enjoy the movie though. It was fun.
You just don't calm down, stop clapping, sit down in your seats.
That's
be quiet,
saying,
everybody.
Bro. Why y'all
I mean, it is funny too because Spider-Man didn't have half the moments that Endgame had, as far as like people clapping and like people were crying in Endgame. As far as like the moment
I would have left.
Moment all the blipped people all showed up through when they said on your left, and Cap turns around and everybody's there. My God, the theater I was in lost it. You would think The Rock just returned.
The people's champ, baby.
Yeah, they everybody lost because I was in. You know, I try to go to every. Like the first showing I can, just so I don't have to deal with, being online, being like, hey, avoid spoilers, don't spoil. Like, nah, you know what? I don't give a shit. I saw it the second it came out, so I'm not going to be one of those guys screaming at people about spoilers. I don't give a shit. I saw it. But I will say that, to steal a point from Garrett Kidney, I think the spoiler culture, like, it is a very strategic thing.
It is.
Because do you see how big the box office is going to be this weekend? They're talking about 200 million. And it's all people trying to avoid spoilers.
Right.
And so it is this culture of like, if you put it out there and you continue to hammer home like no spoilers, then everybody's going to be like, oh, I need to go see it.
So I have to avoid spoilers. Yeah. It's a great strategy.
It is an excellent
The movie
strategy.
industry maybe convoluted this. Like, I don't know. This sounds like a good strategy that's been going on for a long time. Because I hate spoilers. Like wrestling, I hate when people are like, I was spoiled on Twitter. How did you go on Twitter like when a live show is going on? Like, you have to avoid Twitter. Like, nobody on Twitter is not going to be talking about this live show. So like, if I don't want to see something, I'm not going on any social media. I'm not going to be mad at people for spoiling it because of course they are. They're going to talk about it. They're excited about it and they don't want to wait. Yeah. But some people are like ridiculous about it and want to spoil it, which is pretty dumb. So.
Yeah, I learned this the hard way this week with Hawkeye. You guys up at 3 a.m. spoiling the show. What's wrong with you guys? Go to bed.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. Like, you gotta relax at least for like 12 hours. Give me like 12. Man.
What's wrong with you?
Give me 12.
But hey, let's read some more super chats. Mac said watching Bob and Bob Barker and Mrs. Parker was never boring.
I'm saying straight up, Price is Right always was hitting them, like regardless.
Tyrone says no spoilers. You see the Arn Anderson spine buster in Spider-Man.
My God.
Also, is Reg okay since Hangman is still champ?
You see, I'm not okay, man. You see, I'm not okay.
My guy, man.
I'm yelling at the MCUs. I'm beefing with the MCUs, man. Come on, I don't got time for that.
We got a couple of humper chats. We got Bam says happy holidays to everyone. You guys are killing it in the game. Also want to thank you, Phil, for the Twitter space to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers, and now have to watch the movie 2 more times and it gets better. He says Willem Dafoe next world champion. He was the best part of the movie, I thought.
He's so funny, dude.
I thought
Goblin King, bro.
I was laughing honestly so hard at his stuff.
Yeah, when he dropped the line we all know, man, I died. I was like, I was waiting for it, and I got it. And
that fool's facials are crazy.
Yeah, he and like I said, he was probably the best part of the movie. Jay Shell said, "Hi guys, hope you guys had a good week. Are you planning on checking out Big Swole's live podcast tonight?" I actually was.
Yes.
Yeah. So
definitely.
Because I think she's good at it. She used to be a part of Swerve City Podcast. Back when Swerve City Podcast was a part of fanoff.com, which I own.
Flex.
Yeah. Although Swerve City Podcast, the audio version is back on fanoff.com. So
Flex. Big flex.
There's that video version on YouTube, and then and first guest was Eddie Kingston.
Killed it, man. I didn't watch the whole thing, but the clips I saw were just like, of course.
I mean, it's a great interview, and like it's amazing because Eddie is who he is. Eddie's so unique, in that like he's like a big nerd, but also he's a dude I also just wouldn't fuck with.
Right.
So
it's from New York. He's hard.
Yeah, he'll talk to you about video games and then turn around and still bust you upside your head.
Smack the shit out of you. Yeah.
And let's see. We got another one from NWA Bad Blood. Says, man, you guys are awesome. Thanks for always blessing me when joining the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm going to bless you guys with this $5. Thank
Appreciate you, Bad Blood.
Appreciate
Two people
you.
I was just on podcast with, Jay Shell and Bad Blood, straight up this week, back to back. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all are great.
And also said, oh yeah, and Reg, congrats once again on the PWI cover and the baked beans. Bro, the movie was legit better than the NXT 2.0 show. Yep, there it is.
What's that? Wow, look at that. That's beautiful, ain't it?
Flex.
Let's see, Deontay with the Anakin trick. Said, want to wish y'all dudes a Merry Christmas. Y'all giving me good vibes as always. Gonna watch Stardom and GCW this weekend.
I gotta watch that GCW show.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any wrestling last night, so
Hey,
it's up in the
man,
air.
that Mayu clip that's been going on since the Stardom show last night. Whew. Crazy spot.
Lots to check out this weekend. And Eloquent says, happy holidays, fellas, and also sheesh at Darby getting cooked. Darby got cooked.
Shouldn't have even came in the kitchen, Darby.
Hey, man. Yeah, let this be a lesson. Don't talk reckless if you're not prepared for somebody to come back, man.
The smoke will come right back to you, bro.
Alexander says, Reggie never lied a day in his life. We are on MC movie 35 or 36 and maybe 2 stand-up as complete films, but it's definitely wrestling at its core. But it's like good wrestling. Like, it's not
Wait a minute. 2 stand-up as complete movies? What?
I disagree. I disagree with that. I do think it is good wrestling.
man?
I do think that's true, but I do think the wrestling part is true.
Said, hold on a minute.
But nah, I mean, plenty stand up is like complete films. Honestly, I don't know one that doesn't. And like I think it has become commonplace to like talk about these movies as like, oh, they're just popcorn films. Oh, but like they're good movies. Like I don't know. I genuinely think they're like actually good movies.
They keep you captivated and engaged for the whole time. So I'm like, how could you be mad at that? You can't be mad at that format.
Nah, and honestly, I've been having fun with them since Iron Man, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not one of those guys who can get with, hating on these movies just because they're the biggest movies in the world.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Fun.
There's a reason people like this shit. You know what I mean? It's not for nothing.
Drew says, I went to the theater to see Endgame and it sounded like I went to Grand Slam.
Just as packed, man.
Let's see. We got somebody said I make Bryan Danielson faces. Okay.
Yes.
We got WWE and MCU have one thing in common though. The villains are usually more compelling than the baby faces.
That's a fact.
Also a lie. Come on, Alexander, man. What's with these takes today, bro? It's a lie, man. Peter Parker is obviously one of the best characters ever. I won't let you slander that man's name. Cut it out.
And here's another one from our dear friend Hannah. Shout out to Reg for that Big E interview.
Thank you, Hannah. I appreciate it. It was a lot of hard work, and I can't believe it happened. I still can't believe it. I look at the cover, and I look inside, and I'm like, yo, you. When I bought it at Barnes & Nobles this week, it's just like, you guys, that's crazy, man. Like,
You actually found a Barnes and Nobles?
That was the thing. I had to drive a little bit away to find it for sure. I had to drive out of Oakland to go get it. So
I was about to say, ain't no Barnes and Nobles in Oakland, man.
No.
I believe you.
and Hannah with her undying Big E thirst. So we know that, just seeing the cover alone was probably enough to. She said she bought 2 though, so
that's what's up. Yeah.
Support.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And speaking of Hannah, she also said Darby forgot she came from wrestling Twitter originally. She has no chill.
She's young. She's like 20 years old or something.
Yeah,
she don't care.
Yeah.
She don't care about nothing, Darby.
Hey, man,
She's about to come at you.
Nah, she's from a different town. Like, we don't do that in Chicago, man. Like, don't come for me. Get out of here, man.
I'm saying.
And we got some Humper chats. Matt says, "What's good, guys? Got my AEW Revolution tickets for Orlando. Very tired from watching GCW last night. AJ versus Gresham was a banger. Turn in the big 4-0 on Monday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Don't want to do the other one. We don't want to get sued. No, happy birthday, man. Big 4-0.
Happy birthday.
That's dope. That's incredible.
But yeah, I also got my Revolution ticket, so I at least know my travel plans because we're me and Phil are going to Terminus next month, 4 weeks from today, and then or tomorrow. It's a Sunday, right? Yeah, 16th. And then going to Revolution in March, and all of that is booked. I was originally planning on I guess anybody who's going to be in the area, I'll let you know. I'll be there. I get in Friday, but I get in like half an hour before Rampage, so I'm probably not going to try and do Rampage. There's no... Like, originally, it was 2 hours before Rampage, and they just rescheduled my flight, and it says I arrive at 9:30 now, and Rampage is at 10. Like, no way. There's zero chance I'm going to make that. Between getting my rental car and all that, no way. But I will be at Revolution. I'm going to try and hit the parks on Saturday. And just have some fun in Orlando.
That's what's up.
So I'm going to be traveling a lot for wrestling in 2022, which I traveled a lot for wrestling in 2021. I think I took more trips this year than I ever have.
Wow.
Because I went to Tampa for Mania.
I was there.
Yep, I did. I went. I guess it wasn't really for wrestling, but there happened to be wrestling that week. But I traveled to Miami for our summer vacation, which Road Rager happened to be happening that weekend. So we went to Road Rager.
Just so happening, he says, randomly. Oh, there's a wrestling show. I don't know. You guys want to
go? My brother lives in Miami, so it was like we're just gonna have a fun. That was our summer vacation. But I did go to Double or Nothing. So in Jacksonville, I was there. I went to Chicago for All Out and New York for Grand Slam.
Wow.
So,
are you going to Dallas?
I don't know.
My dumb ass is probably going to be in Dallas, man. It's so hard to pass up all those shows.
I did Dallas, and there's a poster right here, WrestleMania 32. And, I have a bad taste in my mouth because I will say Dallas was my worst wrestling trip of all my wrestling trips.
That WrestleMania was awful, hot garbage, trash, terrible.
That was the worst wrestling event I've ever been to, and it's not like it didn't have some redeeming factors. Like the women's championship match was very good, but man, between the heat and I drank a 40 before. I think I drank 2 40s before I got in because it's Texas, you can drink whatever you want. So I drank 2 40s before I got in, and I was like, this show is awful. They had on the scoreboard on the big Titantron, they were telling us what to do, cheer and boo. I'm like, what is going on here? This is awful.
I could just picture him standing outside with like the 40 and like shaking his baked beans box and just.
I'm saying it was Liddy City. Yes.
Oh man, yeah.
But Texas is wild, man. I don't know. It's scary out there. They all got guns. They all double cupped up. Like
I mean,
it's crazy out there.
When I went to Royal Rumble in San Antonio, there were these 2 dudes just arguing outside, and I thought, motherfuckers around here have guns. Like, I am just going to head this other direction because I don't know how this is going to end up. But y'all are like really getting intense. And this was like right after Trump was elected too, right? So it was like, that's what they were arguing over. And they were just like shouting at each other. And I just thought, this isn't going to go well. I need to be somewhere else.
Nah.
But yeah,
Texas, yeah. You know what? On second thought, I don't know. It sounds it's crazy.
I don't know. I mean,
and it's Texas and COVID and shit. They don't care about nothing. Like, I mean, no disrespect to Texans, but y'all don't really be caring.
Like, I wasn't planning on going to Tampa, and then like last minute, I was like, you twisted my arm. So I'm not gonna say that I'm not going to Dallas. But I will say,
I always say no, and then they're gonna announce For the Culture, and I'm like, all right, I'm on my way. I'll see you guys there. That's what happened last time. It was like For the Culture. I'm like, all right, I'm going to Tampa. You guys, let's go.
Yeah. So I don't know. Let's see, and then we got one more. We got Van Twinblade sent us a Humper chat. Says hashtag Team Ambition. Davey Richards, Mike Outlaw, Camaro Jackson, and Warhorse are opening their own place in St. Louis.
Wow.
Tootie Lynn, no role models, and technical difficulties are already attached.
I'm telling you, that St. Louis crew is insane. They got a bunch of fire wrestlers out there. Everybody they just named. Davey Richards is the coach. They're gonna have a squad. If they're going to be training more people too, man, St. Louis is about to be in this game. I'm telling you.
And my dude B-Rob, he said, I don't double cup with my guns. Also, I'm not from here, so
you better stop being double cupped up. We saw the heat though when you got the Grapsody shirt. We saw the heat. We remember. We do not forget.
So, you know where we're going to start? We are going to start with the Roman and Paul split. Because, look, I did not like this episode of SmackDown at all. I have not liked SmackDown in a while. I feel like post-draft SmackDown, like, stripped away a lot of what was likable about SmackDown. And now it really is. Like, before it was like, this is the Roman show, but at least there's, like, other things happening on it. Mm-hmm. Now it, like, really is just the Roman show. And that was kind of the only redeeming factor here. But it was good. I actually like this segment. I like the ending segment a lot. I wasn't sure where it was going, but one thing I've like been firmly against, because I don't believe it, I have been firmly against any idea that is Paul Heyman against Brock Lesnar, because we did that once in 2002 when Paul Heyman turned on Brock. And like, when you listen to Paul Heyman talk, you hear any interviews with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman will tell you that he truly does believe Brock Lesnar is like the greatest athlete to ever step into a professional wrestling ring. And like, logically in 2002, why would you side against that? Like, you sided against it for the big show.
It was so dumb in 2002. I hated it. I hated it so much.
And like, they reunited like a year later. And basically just like swept all that under the rug. We're like, you know what? We know we did this big Survivor Series turn. I remember the moment it happened too. Like Brock Lesnar's exact words in his promo when Paul Heyman confronted him in the ring, and he said, you know, Paul, I hate your stinking guts, but you're a great businessman. And if you want to talk business, let's talk business. And then they were just like together ever since. And that was like November 2003. A year later, Brock and Paul are just fine after that. And the explanation is, you know, Paul hates him, or Brock hates him, but they do business.
And then I remember when Brock came back to the WWE without Paul Heyman, and people were like, "Oh no, we need Paul Heyman."
That was trash, yeah, because they tried to put him with John Laurinaitis, and it was not the same.
No, it was not. No,
bring back Heyman tonight.
Yeah, and the second Heyman came back, because they went like a month. They did a month of Brock without Paul. We're like, we gotta get Paul back. It's not working.
Yeah, it ain't hitting.
They brought in Paul, and then the combination was complete. And so from then on, I've never wanted to see Brock without Paul. Like, it just would not have made any sense.
It legit, like you said, doesn't make sense, because it's not real.
Right. And so, but I also do believe Paul Heyman, you know, he's talked up Roman Reigns for years. Even when he was on the other side of him, he's talked up Roman Reigns. So that's another one that I genuinely do believe, that he does believe in Roman Reigns. But I like that they made this work. I liked the logic behind it. I liked the delivery. Like, Paul Heyman has such incredible delivery, and the build-up, like, he knew how to work that crowd. But the way Roman asked, "Why are you protecting Brock Lesnar from me?" and And then the way Paul like slowly went, well, the thing is, Roman, I'm not protecting Brock Lesnar from you. I'm protecting you from Brock Lesnar. And the crowd lost it. That was such a good line. And like everybody knew what he was about to say. But as you're waiting for it, and it was like, damn, that was good.
Greatest of all time. Greatest booker of all time, Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked every part of that. And then Roman fired him, hit him with the Superman punch. Out came Brock Lesnar for the save. F5 everybody. And this is a good ending.
It sounds interesting, but it's leading to Brock and Roman. So
I know, right?
Yeah,
it's a match we've seen a million times.
Who cares?
Yeah, I've seen it a million times, but I did finally like the moment that like Brock, like the Paul Heyman basically saying straight up, like, I love you, Roman, but I've been protecting you from Brock Lesnar this whole time.
You don't want the smoke, bro. Come on, Brock. We've seen what Brock has done to you before.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought, like, out of everything on SmackDown, I think Will's right. This is probably, like, the best thing, other than Sasha coming out in the Spider-Man gear and being Sasha. But, yeah, like, the way they did the video package to start the show, and it had, like, all that stuff from last week, and they kept, like, cutting back to Paul's face outside the ring, grinning every time Lesnar would do something. That stuff was cool. Like, him waiting outside for Roman the whole time, holding the Universal title was cool stuff. And so
although logically, I do have a question about that. So does Paul have the Universal title this whole time? Like, that bugged me, of that, like, he's waiting for Roman to show up. He hasn't seen Roman in a week. But then if that's the case, why does Paul have the Universal title? And because he didn't have it last week when Roman wasn't there. So he had to have seen Roman between last week and now to have possession of the Universal title.
He lying to everybody.
Lying to us, man. No, but, like, all that stuff was good. Like, him waiting, and then, of course, like, Brock showing up first and him, telling him good luck and all that. And the actual segment was great. I mean, just to build him saying the line and him, like, them doing that embrace and him, doing that, like, almost little kid, like, I love you, my tribal chief. I don't want to hurt you. And, like, all that stuff was great. And then he dropped, like, the Drake line. It was kind of like, man, I'm not hiding my kid from the world. I'm hiding the world from my kid. And it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked all of that, honestly. Because, like, here's the thing. I've had some gripes with WWE production as of late. Because, WWE has money in production. And that's the only thing I can give their production, because I don't think it's better than anybody's production, other than the fact that it's more expensive.
That's it.
Because, like, you watch that Xia Li entrance, and it's like, this is cool, I guess. Like, in the sense of, hey, I've never seen anything like this in wrestling, but also, did I ever want to?
Right. Was this needed?
Yeah.
Listen, they are going to make somebody into a superhero. They are trying to make somebody on their programming to look like a superhero.
God,
they really want it to work.
I think the problem I was having with the Xia Li entrance, by the way, is that
Ricochet, you dumb idiot.
but that they're having people on screen react like they can see it. That's the problem I'm having with it. Of these are AR graphics. It's fine. Like, we know, our phones can do that shit, but to do it in a way that have people in the ring selling it like, oh my God, whoa, look at all this lightning and electricity coming off her. And I'm like, stop. But the thing that's been getting me about WWE production is the fake crowd audio. That has been driving me nuts. Raw, it was like atrocious. Raw, they like went so bad on it. I got a clip and I'll post it later. But I was like, Seth Rollins comes out and they just like hit the boot.mp3. And I swear it skipped. Like, you hear it for like half a second, like stop, and then like come back in. And I thought, no way. That didn't.
How you gonna hit a Milli Vanilli on Raw? They did a Milli Vanilli with the crowd noise.
I mean, they're constantly doing it, like especially in backstage segments, and they're like putting reactions on shit people would never react to, and that's what takes me to like the uncanny valley with all of it, is that it's reactions to stuff that no one would ever reacted to in like normal circumstances of like, hey, next week we're gonna have this match, and the crowd like, yeah, and it's like, no, crowds hate that. Crowds hate when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And to you guys' point with the Roman and Brock stuff, Heyman's been the best part of this entire feud.
Right.
Like, I feel like once we get to the actual matches, it's like, all right, that's the stuff that I wasn't interested in. I'm more interested in seeing, Paul do this willy won't he thing every week. And like now that we're getting to the reality that that's the match, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that was the thing is that was the go home. That was the last SmackDown before day one because they already taped next week's SmackDown at the show and like didn't include any of that. And then there isn't a SmackDown the week after. They're taking the week off and then it's day one. So that was the go home segment. And the but where I was going with the crowd thing, because I was kind of talking SmackDown, was last night we saw it in action during the Madcap Moss Baron Corbin segment when the crowd started chanting CM Punk, and then you hear the crowd audio get turned down, and all of a sudden, like, it's just like a static crowd audio replace it. And it was almost like a moment of, shit, we really need the fake crowd audio right now, because they weren't going to let that happen. But I can't believe, I thought the CM Punk chants would die with CM Punk, like, actively being around
that
now.
is very interesting. I thought they would too, but no, for like halfway through it being a big, him being gone for 7 years, it wasn't about like we want CM Punk back. It was just like we're bored. For WWE, it's like we are bored. This is boring. That's what CM Punk chants are now. So because CM Punk's back.
I thought it would be something else, but like come up with something else or another chant. But they're still chanting CM Punk. Even though CM Punk's on the other show.
So now it sounds like else.
It sounds like an endorsement of the other show. When that happens. But CM Punk chants during, and you could almost like hear the panic in the production room for as quickly as the crowd got muted and replaced with the Thunderdome audio was like so fast.
I feel kind of bad for Baron Corbin because like he's just never gonna not have that. It's never going to be a time where people are like, you know what? We really believe in Baron Corbin. We want him to be this. He's going to be that character, this person forever. It's going to work for him because he's going to make money for the rest of his life in WWE. But I'm sure he's like, damn, I know he probably doesn't care. He probably just cares about money. I take it all back. He just wants to eat meat and barbecue. Fuck off, Baron Corbin.
And you know what? That's probably going to take us into our next story. But we got we got a Humper chat. No Name says, shout out to the Grapsody gents.
Oh, like the rapper No Name?
Probably not.
No Name, what's up?
Though, if it was.
Whoa.
I mean, Phil got that Chi-Town connection, I'm telling you.
I guess.
Tyrone says, Jimmy saying, do him like you did me, Oos, is like Hall of Fame stuff.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was very good.
I'm about to watch this segment. I didn't,
Yeah, it was a good segment. I thought like getting through SmackDown as a whole isn't like great.
Someone's been telling me to watch it on Hulu because they like speed it up or some shit. I don't know. Yeah,
Raw definitely does. Raw is only 90 minutes on Hulu for a 3-hour show. They like cut a lot of it out.
It's how it should really be. It really should only be 90 minutes. Might make it better.
But SmackDown, like I did like the opening tag, but like why did Tony Storm not get an entrance, but everybody else did? It was a tag match. It's like the show starts out with Sasha's entrance, and she's making her way down, and then Tony Storm's already in the ring. But then like Charlotte and Shotzi both got their entrances. So literally in a tag match, you let 3 of the 4 people get their entrances, but like Tony Storm's just already in the ring. The only one, she could have at least come out with Sasha. She's just already in the ring. It's like you really wanted to illustrate a point.
Jobber entrance, buddy.
Jeez,
like they really wanted to like hammer home the point that like she doesn't get an entrance here. She doesn't even get to walk out with Sasha. She's just already in the ring. Shotzi got her entrance, and like they took away the thing people love about Shotzi's entrance.
making Shotzi a heel was such a weird choice. Like, because she barely got a reaction last night, and I felt like she was getting a big reaction as a babyface. So it's like, I don't understand why they changed her. It just still doesn't make sense to me.
We know why.
But
it's them. It's those guys.
Yeah, and I don't know. The rest of the show was just.
It's crazy because Toni Storm's a great talent. Both Toni and Shotzi can be like the next ones if they would just let them.
There are a lot of people on the roster. Like, I was watching Cesaro grimace on the side of the ring, and I was like, what are they doing with this guy, man? Like, what is going on?
And yeah, Alexander said 1 week closer to WrestleMania, and we still have no babyface position to succeed Roman.
Yes, we do. His name is Brock Lesnar.
It's Brock Lesnar. That's who's facing. That's the WrestleMania match. You're getting Roman versus Brock Lesnar.
We're seeing it.
Day one's gonna end in some shenanigans, and they're gonna kick the can down the road to WrestleMania, and for the 4th time, it's gonna be. Or third time, right? Third time.
These dumbasses might do 2. They might do 2 matches. They're having 2 nights. They're like, all right, we're gonna have Roman in a street fight against Brock on this night, and the next night in a Hell in a Cell match against Brock.
They better not.
They would. They would. They are awful. They're awful.
Oh man!
I can't believe I just put that idea in the air. Vince McMahon is like,
please no.
Wait, what did I just hear? Don't do that to us, man. Don't do that to Roman. Don't do that to Brock.
Yeah.
And I just want to see like Brock Lesnar wrestle someone else, like not even just like we're tired of this. It's just like Brock can do. He's so cool. He can do a bunch of things with a bunch of other wrestlers. Give us the Bobby match,
like dude.
Oh come on,
give us the Bobby Lashley match.
What are y'all
That
doing?
is the problem I've had with WWE's entire use of guys that have made comebacks in the last few years. That they've brought back. They keep bringing back guys to do shit they were already doing, right?
Right.
Like. You brought back Edge, and I don't think it's a secret, but if I've never said it on this show, Randy Orton's like one of my least favorite wrestlers like ever.
Oh my, same.
But like I'm not a Randy Orton guy.
Yes,
I don't care.
I am among friends.
Yes, do not care.
But the thing is, like, I was willing to tolerate Edge versus Randy Orton, like maybe once, but ultimately. We've seen Edge versus Randy Orton, right?
Out the gate is the problem I had with it. If they would have had Edge come in, if they would have been feuding like now after Edge has been back, I wouldn't be mad. But like out the gate, I saw that 20 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many times did we see it, right? We saw them, they feuded in 2010. They feuded in 2007. They feuded in 2004. So, like, they feuded constantly. This was not a feud that not only was I itching to see, but it was like...
We weren't like, oh, I wonder what happened with Randy Orton and Edge. It's been such a long time. They should... No, we don't. And then they had the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah, and I was annoyed with that because I'm like, you had Edge, who'd been gone 11 years, and you brought him back to... 9 years. How long had Edge been gone? Yeah, 9 years. But you had Edge who had been gone 9 years, and you went with shit we had already seen from Edge. Like, the thing I want to see most when anybody makes a comeback, don't care what company it is, but the thing that goes through my head is, okay, what matches did we miss out on while they've been gone? Let's do it. Like, that's what was cool about, like, WWE has gotten that right. Because my favorite example of a good comeback, Steve Austin, 2000. Right, Steve Austin, and he was only gone 9 months. We're not talking about 9 years. That man was gone 9 months, but in 9 months, WWE had signed Kurt Angle. WWE had signed Benoit, Guerrero, Chris Jericho, who had only been around a month when a couple months when Austin went out. So, like, all of a sudden, Jericho was around. And the cool thing was, Austin came back after 9 months, and it was like,
he wrestled everybody.
There's a whole new slate of opponents that he had never had before. Let's do them all. It wasn't
and the crazy thing about Edge is he said so many times that he wants to wrestle everybody new. He wasn't saying, I want to come back and wrestle Randy Orton. He had a podcast where he was like, I want to wrestle Daniel Bryan. I want to wrestle Finn Balor. I want to wrestle Sami Zayn. And they just haven't done any of that.
No, so we got Seth Rollins. And the thing is, the cool thing is, when they do it, it works. Because Seth Rollins and Edge was great.
Right.
Like, I feel like Edge is, it's not that it's been bad, but again, Edge and Miz is something we've seen before.
Right.
And I'm still, and they're still talking about Miz like he's somebody new. Like the way that Miz is coming at, or Edge is coming at Miz of like, you've earned your spot and all of that. And I'm like, Miz won the WWE title 10 years ago. This isn't somebody new. And
he's coming up on 20 years of being in the WWE, bro. He's there. He's established. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. Leave him alone.
You know, in the grand scheme of things, he's barely newer than Edge at this point. Because, like,
we're still doing the nobody will give me my due thing, and it's like, dude, you're a 2-time WWE champion. Like, you've got your due at this point. You did it. You got a reality TV show, bro. Like, you've got your due. What are you talking about?
I can't believe we're still doing the nobody gives Miz respect thing. Like, we're way past that. But again, and the same thing with Brock Lesnar, though. Brock Lesnar is a guy that is rarely around. And because he's rarely around, the times he is here, we should be seeing shit that we possibly could never get to see again. Like, why are we continually doing Brock Roman when, like, the first time we saw that was going on 6 years ago?
And every time that Brock has done something besides Roman, it's been dope. Like,
oh, we lost Reg's sound.
Oh no!
Can't hear him. Can't hear Reg. Wait.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can't hear you. Yes.
Okay, I can't see you though.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I've seen it. We can hear you now. Come back. All right. Oh, and then the picture don't work without three of us here. So instead, you just get this colorful, Fightful background. But yeah, but he's right in that whenever whenever Brock does do something that's not Roman, whether it was Bryan Danielson, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, not Ricochet,
not Kofi.
Yeah, not Kofi. Yeah, Kofi Ricochet. But
there's a trend there, isn't it?
There's a trend, especially because he wrestled Kofi twice, and because they did the Beast in the East, right?
It's crazy out here.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just agreeing with you, Reg, when you were gone. But that Brock,
Samoa Joe, and all that.
Yeah, Samoa Joe. Yeah, but we mentioned Finn Balor, although Ricochet and Kofi, not the case.
I mean, a couple of them weren't hitters at all.
Yes. But yeah, when Brock does those types of matches, when he comes back for guys that he hasn't worked before, we get some really cool shit, especially when it's smaller guys. And there's a new slate of guys. Like, I'm thinking about the fact that you could do something with this Sammy stuff and make it fun because you've got this story kind of brewing. Do something with that.
And Sammy's incredible in the ring, so it would be amazing.
What is Shinsuke Nakamura doing right now? Like,
there is so much history between Brock and Shinsuke, and they don't talk about it at all.
Nope.
I know, right?
Nothing.
Yeah, like, there's stuff you could do.
They're just like, yo, do Roman again. We like that. Run it back. No, we don't want you to run it back again. 4 times, dude?
It makes me physically ill thinking about the idea that WWE pulled Shawn Michaels out of retirement and brought him back.
I can't believe it. Bald head Shawn Michaels? That is crazy.
You had bald head Shawn Michaels, and, like, you brought him back for that match. Like, the immediate thing everybody wanted to see was, oh, Shawn's out of retirement? AJ Styles, let's do it. Didn't even consider it.
They put this man on a Thursday morning.
Every time I think about that program, I think of the Brothers of Destruction walking up the ramp and looking back at the camera and, like, doing, like, the Instagram model pose where they're, like, looking over their shoulder. Like, it's just every time I think about it, that's what I think about. And it has, like, that dramatic music behind it. Doom.
Right. That was awful, you guys. You guys brought out one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, probably the best ever in your company for that. That's insane. And they put it on TV, and he was awful. Oh God, I can't believe it. I would have did the match and not put it on TV, honestly.
The Reg needs to stop with the Nightmare Fuel. Though sent that probably 10 minutes ago or 8 minutes ago, so I don't know what that was in reference
to.
Probably that double Roman match.
Oh yeah, the two.
Oh yeah. Damn,
which, let's face it, Roman is telling them no to that. He's like,
Roman's like, are you crazy? I mean, a double payday though.
Yeah, and Kurt Benoit says, listening since the first show, usually on my way to a 13-hour Saturday-Sunday shift at work, but not tonight. Listening high and drunk. Keep up the good work.
That's what's up.
Hey, man. Enjoy your
Smoke
Saturday.
one, drink
Enjoy.
one. It's the holidays. Even if it ain't the holidays, do it. But yeah, shout out to y'all.
Yeah. All right, we got another one. Speaking of, you were talking about Baron Corbin in the bag. So Kevin Owens is re-signed with WWE. I think it's an interesting choice here. Because like a lot of people have kind of taken it as, oh look, Kevin Owens, the AEW couldn't offer what WWE was offering, but AEW never got to make an offer because
he's still on contract.
He's still under contract. He was under contract till January 31st. So there's never even been a negotiation. Kevin Owens took the WWE offer and chose to stay. And like I know, right? I mean, like, here's the thing. I would have loved to have seen what Kevin Owens had to offer outside of WWE, and that's not just saying AEW. I'm saying like in general, in the world, I want to see a more mature Kevin Steen back on the scene. Hey, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. But
niggas got kids, man.
But here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying that, right? But like, that's only if the money is the only thing that matters, right? Because like WWE has the most intense schedule of anything. Like, it ain't like signing with WWE means you get more time with your family. No, you're working house shows. You're on the road.
You're right.
You're on the road way more. So unless it really is just about the money, and not about the time, that's what I thought was curious. Like, I think the reports are like somewhere between 2 and 3 million, which you ain't gonna get anywhere else. And good on Kevin Owens for being worth that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I hope that's the case, because I hope it's not like a Braun Strowman situation or
actually, it's like 200,000. What you talking about? Yeah. Those figures are all wrong.
Or like
but Kevin Owens moves merch. It makes sense. Like he's a top guy. He's a top guy for sure.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I think that obviously, I think about the Good Brothers, right, where they got signed to near $1 million deals until and they kept them in those deals for less than a year.
And like, that's also a thing. Deals ain't shit. Like, Kevin Owens could be out in 6 months. They could be like, you know what? It's a Bret Hart situation. We can't afford it or anything like that,
Is there any truth to this Meltzer report where he was saying that he had like a clause that stops him from getting cut, at least early on?
I mean, no cut clauses are really difficult to get through.
Yeah.
I know every wrestler wants them right now, and there's a lot of talk in the industry about getting no cut clauses, and that if wrestlers banded together in some way, and I wish there was like a mechanism for that, of like a way where like wrestlers could band together and collectively negotiate things, but it's a shame that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what you would call that. Would you call that a corporation? No. I think you might call that. What was that other faction in 1999?
It was Mankind.
Yeah, and Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
Damn,
it's not ringing a bell. Not ringing a bell.
But anyway,
I don't know. Maybe ask Selena Vega. She might know.
Yeah, she might. But yeah, I think about how there is. I feel like that is something that wrestlers, if they did band together, could probably collectively ask for, of like hey, guarantee these contracts, because like WWE, the reason that they are comfortable with making big offers is because they know that ultimately they don't have to stand by them if the wrestler doesn't work out for them. Like,
right.
Braun Strowman was in a huge contract. Braun Strowman was one of those guys that they're like, look, Braun Strowman is a merch mover, because he was selling action figures. Kids loved Braun Strowman, but ultimately they weren't getting a huge return on him. So it was like, we don't have to keep him. And that is kind of the out of these big contracts, of like, if Kevin Owens isn't showing the worth of $3 million, they don't have to stand by that.
Right.
Which is why I think it's more realistic to offer a more realistic deal up front for 2 years and just guarantee you won't cut him. And if you happen to make more money for that, then Good. But as far as Kevin Owens is concerned, I don't necessarily know what his line of thinking was, and I can't say I would. Obviously,
I mean, it's telling that he didn't negotiate over there. Like he was just like, y'all are giving me a great deal. Let's do it. Let's sign it. Let's keep going. So,
well, I mean, hey, if he's happy there, more power to him. I can't, I can't speak to that. That's the most important thing here. If he's happy where he's at, and he's getting offered a good contract, that's great. Like that's a W for him. I kind of think he made the right decision in the sense that, like, maybe like when he initially tweeted out that coordinates thing, and people were like, "Oh man, he might leave." That was September, right? That was kind of before we found out like the other free agents that were going to be out there, like Keith Lee and all these guys are out there. Now the Ring of Honor guys are going to be out there, and so I could see him looking around like, man, if I am not any closer to be world champion here, like I don't think I'm going to be closer there either at this rate. Like, and I could see him looking around like, well.
Maybe
crazy out there.
It was a very different scene. You were right. When he was initially hinting at it, there wasn't, Swerve wasn't out there, and the whole Ring of Honor roster. Because there's pretty much. I mean, there's a lot of rumors because Brody King just signed to AEW, and there's talk of pretty much everybody saying the Briscoes are like a done deal. Yeah, and speaking of which, shout out to SP3. I did Jay Shell and so I did Jay Shell's podcast with and Carissa last week with SP3, and we were talking about the Usos. And keep in mind, I love the Usos, but when he made the point that the Usos in their current state from 2016 on are literally just merging the Young Bucks with the Briscoes, I was like, I was like, damn.
So somebody's definitely gonna clip that red at the bottom.
Okay, look, back to Kevin Owens. I kid about Kevin Owens. I'm not sad. Knowing the history, I've been watching Kevin Owens since 2005. I'm PWG Youngboy. Everybody knows it. I've seen this man rise. I've seen this man be told, you're not going to make it. You'll never be world champ. You'll never be in WWE. You'll never even make it to WWE. And for him to get there, become Universal Champion, have a long career, done stuff with Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon, and like done all these crazy things. And for him to get signed for a big money contract is amazing. And congrats to Kevin Owens, man. He earned it.
Jumping off the sign at WrestleMania, which I still think like, after that WrestleMania, he should have been the guy that's next up to challenge for the world title. Yeah, he was red hot at that time. And man, if anything that I am a little bit disappointed about him staying is that I feel like they still have not like fully invested in him. And I mean, it's like he has gotten to do really cool things. He has gotten into big programs, but the fact that like he's pretty much shown us in a span of 2 years now that look, I can be a really good babyface, I can be a really good heel, and he's still not any closer to being a world champion. And I feel like that's kind of crazy. Like he's owed another world title reign, and I know deserves is a thing people don't want to hear in wrestling, but I mean, as good as this guy is, he's good enough to hold one of those world titles, man.
And I want to see a legitimate one because like he was Universal Champion. But, like, I hated everything about that. The idea that, the fact that he was handed to him by Triple H.
handed it to him.
Yeah, Triple H won that match.
Then we never got to pay off for that at all.
And then he lost to fucking Billy. Oh, God, awful.
It should have been the Jericho match at WrestleMania. Like,
yeah.
And look, now that he's sticking around, fans, I need you to get this right. Because, like, his Titantron is telling you to do it. And you still never got it right. But, look, with his music, look, you guys, the wrestling fans love to sing along and chant along. It's supposed to go da 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 fight da 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 fight. Fans,
they're never gonna get it right.
They're never gonna get it. But like his Tron literally says fight at that break in the song. Chant fight. I've been wanting that for years.
and by the way, while you say that is a good thing about him staying is he still keeps his theme music, which is theme music.
Great
Maybe because they've been getting rid of every CFO's theme, and Sami Zayn's is gone.
Yeah, you're right.
And I saw last night the Viking Raiders got a new theme. Like, and all these themes are whack, by the way. Look, I know we're not supposed to
terrible.
Like Def Rebel. I'm pretty sure Def Rebel's a really nice person, so I'm not gonna diss on Def Rebel for anything but the product that is produced. But all these songs sound like they're being produced in GarageBand on the iPad.
Yeah, they need to. They don't need to have one in-house producer. They need to have 10. They have a lot of wrestlers.
Or as an in-house producer, work with other artists outside.
Right.
Bring in people. I think that's a good thing to do. Jay Blood sent us super chat, said Kevin Owens at $2 to $3 million a year. Mox cashed in his chips and left. Owens held up the casino. Good on him.
Yep.
But again, like Phil said, there's a lot has changed because
it's different.
It is a very different scene.
If his contract was up a year ago, he might have been like, I'm out.
He would have been ghost.
So.
Yeah, but no, it makes sense for him to stay. I'm not completely down on him staying like some people are. I think it's a good move for him, and that's what's important. Now, if we're a year from now and he's still basically doing the flip-flopping Big Show thing of going back and forth between the heel and the face, then I'm gonna be like, all right, what are we doing? Let's get this guy where he belongs, man.
I mean, people saying he might win the world title at day one. So,
I think right now, I could easily see him winning the Rumble. It's who else is it? I mean, there's nobody else that I could put my finger on. That guy can win. I think Kevin Owens can win. Right now he's my sleeper pick to win.
Yeah, I don't know who's winning the Rumble.
I think it might be Bob Lashley.
I'd be here for that. But if it's for the Brock match, if Brock
like
is champion by now,
if he gets screwed out of the day one match somehow, blah blah blah, and then he comes into the Rumble and just tears it up, I can see it.
Let's see. Joe says, I saw Kevin Owens at Disney World last weekend. He needs that WWE money to fund his Disney habit.
Wow.
I'm saying.
No, that's Gargano. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Mike says, does AEW do the 10 bell salute for Darby?
Yo.
He does the coffin drop. He's already halfway there.
T. Daniel Barber says, KO staying in WWE is a good keep. Would love to see him be a player coach in NXT 2.0.
No.
He could do a lot of good if allowed. No.
Not at
Keep
this
him
time.
away from that brand.
Yeah,
and look, the dream of people going back to NXT is over.
It's over. It's
Stop.
dead. It's dead.
Stop. It's done.
Dead.
And the thing is, because Bryan Danielson was asking for that for years, by the way, right? He was like, look, let me work in NXT. I want to work with these guys. And which is why it surprised me when people are like, why is Bryan Danielson working dark? Of course he's working dark. He is Bryan Danielson, and he has wanted for the longest time to not only work the main event players, but he wants to work the guys who are up and coming, and he wanted to work NXT a lot. So when he works dark, don't be surprised by that.
Right.
When he takes the trip to Universal Studios to work those shows, this Bryan Danielson, this is what he does. This is what
he wanted to work the cruiserweights. He kept telling you guys he wanted to work the cruiserweights. And so, I don't know. Why are people surprised by that?
Yeah. Bryan absolutely.
I watched a whole dark of him in that. I don't know if it's supposed to be kayfabe of him in that lucha gear. I didn't know. I watched the whole match and I was like, who is this guy in this gear? And then when it was over, I was like, oh, and I just laughed so hard, man.
Yeah.
He wants to do that. You know what I mean? That's not it's not like when they talk about Adam Cole or no one's forced to do anything of these things. All these things. That's what the other company forces people to do stuff.
Everybody wrestles dark matches. I don't understand people. Everybody wrestles dark matches.
But honestly, Bryan said it in Chicago. And
Roman wrestles more dark matches than regular matches.
Yeah.
When Bryan in Chicago at All Out got on the mic, and the last thing he said, and this quote has stuck with me ever since, but when he said, "I am here to goddamn wrestle," man, he has proven it.
He was not lying.
He was absolutely not lying. Derek says Owens will probably get the Cesaro treatment since he signed his deal. Sammy is getting it right now too. Back to the mid card 2 to 3 months.
Big facts.
That is one that a lot of people don't talk about, but man, Cesaro re-signed last year, and
still getting beat up by the same people he's been getting beat up for the last year.
They had him in a feud with Roman for like legit 2 weeks.
Yeah, he got that short feud, lost.
They were like,
and we moved on.
Cool, we're good. We tried it, you guys. We tried the Cesaro thing. Remember?
He got that feud, and Rollins immediately came out and started beating him down again. Went right back into that feud, and then he lost again. Like he didn't beat him at WrestleMania. It was crazy. And, I mean, another one like that is Gulak. Like Gulak resigned, and he has just been like
even
in the lurch.
Oh my god!
And the weird thing about Gulak was Gulak did go into free agency. Like we're talking about Owens, who never went into free agency. Cesaro never went into free agency. Gulak did go into free agency and resigned. And so I thought that was interesting. So I don't know if it's just there just weren't offers or whatever. Because like Gargano right now is in free agency. I think Kyle is signed. I think
they were teasing it.
Yeah, they were like the fact that they're already teasing it for next week's Dynamite. Like I think he's like there. He's in place. We're here.
Hey man, cool Kyle engaged. But no, I'm hoping for the best for Kevin Owens. I hope this works out for him.
Yeah.
But you know, would I be lying if I said I wouldn't have been excited to see him go somewhere else? Yeah, I would have wanted to see him go somewhere else and do other things. But I can understand his decision to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an easy, like he said, it's an easy one, so it makes sense. Like, yeah, of course, like you're in there.
So last week we discussed Ring of Honor Final Battle, went over the card, and took place. So what is the future of Ring of Honor? Because we know what the present is. We know that Jonathan Gresham won the Ring of Honor World title.
Let's go, baby.
Just
John Gresham, the brand new Ring of Honor World Champion. You know what? I want to address a little something. And the main event was definitely rushed. If you know anything about pro wrestling, you know anything about time and how things move, you can see when a main event is rushed. You can see when a match is rushed. You can see when things are moving a little bit quicker than the company probably wanted to. You lose out on time. It's hard to time out a wrestling show what people don't know. So there's a controversy this week about Ring of Honor not showing a moment of black solidarity, and they should definitely show moments of black solidarity. But to kind of shoot Ring of Honor some bail, looks like they had zero time. They rushed through the main event. Jonathan Gresham didn't even get a celebration. It was like 1, 2, 3. All right, you guys, let's have a great show. Thanks for coming here. Anytime that they're rushing out of the end of it, it's like it's just for time. It's not for because they think it's awful or anything. So I just wanted to shoot Ring of Honor some bail. It looked like a time issue. When you watch a lot of wrestling shows, you could see it happening, and I saw it happen. I'm like, damn, this main event match would have probably went a lot longer because they rushed through it. Jonathan Gresham never rushes through his matches, and you can just see it. So,
yeah, I agree. I do think it's a shame that we didn't get the Shane Taylor stuff on TV.
Yeah,
and we didn't get Gresham's actual promo after the match on TV as well. But yeah, you could tell like there was a rush, but that also just speaks to where Ring of Honor is right now. It's just so weird.
It's like y'all are still doing this. I see why y'all going on hiatus, bro. Come on, get it together.
Yeah, it's just so weird that like they made all that time for EC3 to stand out there and talk gibberish until Adam Shearer came out.
Okay, I take my bell back. I'm not shooting y'all some bell, Ring of Honor. I forgot y'all brought Braun Strowman. Like,
I mean, well, here's the thing. Like, sometimes because talking about the timing of shows, that can happen, right? Where like you gave something so much time that you look up and you're like, crap. Now we just lost all this time for the things we had planned afterward. So, I mean, yeah, you did bring in, because I guess they're a trio now. It's
Free the Titan.
Yeah, Karrion Kross and EC3 and Adam Scherr are now doing their thing. Okay. I don't know where they're going to do it.
We didn't believe WWE was going to give up on us white boys coalition. That's what it was. But they gave up on you, surprising. I'm really surprised. Every time I see Braun Strowman, I'm like, I thought he was for life. I thought he was a WWE lifer, honestly.
He'll be back.
I
honestly think so too. Yeah.
I honestly just think his contract was too big. I really think it was a case of, we signed him to keep him, but ultimately we couldn't afford this, and so we had to let him go. But now, if he goes back, like, we'll sign you for like 10 times less.
Right. I think he's going to take the deal eventually.
I think he'll definitely be back at some point.
Yeah. But as far as the future of Ring of Honor, because we saw a lot of things happen on the show. We saw FTR show up.
Very dope.
Although They totally took the Tron that they used off of YouTube because that ain't the one that FTR uses now. When that Tron showed up on the screen, I'm like, that ain't the Tron FTR uses now. But
that ain't McDonald's.
AEW couldn't like give you the actual one. Y'all just went on YouTube.
Right.
FTR theme. All right. Yeah, they showed up, attacked the Briscoes, and so that's definitely leading somewhere. I don't know. I feel like without Ring of Honor around, if Ring of Honor wants to obviously come back in April, I think one of the things they could do is, we heard that Jonathan Gresham was backstage at Dynamite recently. If you did do some kind of invasion storyline with the champs, that wouldn't be bad.
And you have secondary titles.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't say secondary, but you have other championships that can be defended on your program, just like they did with Impact for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just have all the champions come in. They're doing these matches. Talked about it with Jay Show on her podcast. That's really funny because she said to bring in STP and then you could defend the trios titles because people have been talking about trios titles for a really long. Well, they're not the trios champions anymore. You have to bring in the Righteous now. Bring in the Righteous now as the champions. Then you got the trios champions in AEW, and then it's lit because there's a lot of cool trios teams.
But I think you could do it as like an invasion of like, these are guys who are tied to Ring of Honor and they've got the Ring of Honor titles because like it's really obvious. There's no other platform that FTR and the Briscoes is going to take place on.
Right.
It's happening in AEW. As a matter
it
of fact,
could potentially happen in GCW, but I mean they got to fill that Hammerstein show is coming up, so I don't know if they're going to try to shoot it really quick, but it's potentially, but I would definitely see it in AEW, I think. So.
Yeah, I see it in AEW as well. And FTR talked about how they don't have much longer left on their contracts in AEW. I don't know what they're going to do because they signed 2-year deals in May of 2020. And I know 2020 feels like, that year just went by, but all of a sudden you're looking up and you're like, oh my God.
There's no way they go back over there, right?
I don't know what they do.
They can't.
To be honest.
They can't.
I don't know if they go back, but because they're having the time of their lives right now.
That's what I'm saying. They cannot. They're all over the place. That would be like a downgrade for them.
I know. And like Dax Harwood has talked about how much he loves Tony. And like he said he was like Tony Khan does not get enough credit as being like he called him a wrestling genius. And
Dax is he plays a veteran role. Will Hobbs tells me all the time that he gets advice from Dax, and Dax is telling a lot of younger people or helping a lot of younger people back there. So, man, FTR is killer, man. They're dope.
Speaking of people in the back, though, that story that Sean broke. So I had heard about that earlier in the week because I told you guys about it. The story of the fan who got dragged from backstage. But good.
It was Dax too, huh?
Yeah, it was
makes
Dax.
Sense. There you go.
Yeah, it was Dax. Dax and MJF were the ones who figured it out. Like
role.
this dude is. What do you mean you're trained by Jeff Hardy?
That's what he said.
Yeah, dude said you're trained by Jeff Hardy.
No,
and they were like, wait.
How did he get past one person with that?
Wow. Come on, security. Come on, get it together. Get it together, security. Speaking of Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy is a funny guy, man.
Matt Hardy's so funny.
The Matt Hardy shenanigans online for the last week have been amazing. Watching him do that clip with Jeff in the background, these tweets he's getting off. Matt is hilarious, man.
Yeah, I mean, I look at a lot of stuff with Matt, right? Because he had the tweet about. He said, "I have enjoyed my time with these guys." Isaiah Cassidy's like, "What do you mean enjoy?"
Yeah, he's getting his tweets off like, "Listen, my baby brother's coming." Like,
he knows it's lit, man. He knows that every company in the world wants the Hardy Boys, so he's like, "Yo, it's lit." My brother.
And there's a lot of dream tag matches. Like all of us, like, look, we talked about this last week. I am not in any position to speak to what Jeff should or shouldn't be doing because I don't know what the situation is. Like Matt talked last week about how Jeff took a drug test and they released him before the results even came back. Although those should come back really quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised we haven't heard about that already. But
WWE is just like, we had to drug test you, so we're washing our hands. It's pretty cut and dry. It's not. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You know.
I was gonna ask this kind of a stupid question. But I was like, isn't that kind of illegal? But then again, like, they're not technically employed. So,
right.
Yeah.
They're independent contractors and shit.
Yeah, like,
So.
because that strikes me as illegal. You can't fire somebody without getting the results of a drug test. Like,
Right.
Now, that said, I did, because, like, I've seen the Hardys versus the Lucha Bros, and it was great. When did I see that? That was at WrestleCon Super Show in 2017 in Orlando. And it was great. It was really good. And I would love to see that again. Look, I don't know how much time we've got left with both guys, but there are some dream tag matches out there. You know, Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy have talked a lot about how those were their idols. Although, makes me feel old when I hear somebody say that, man, I love the Hardys. When they had those tag titles in 2007, like, and I grew up watching that, and I'm like, oh, that's right.
That's
you
crazy.
didn't even get, like, first Hardys run.
Right.
Like, you guys grew up on the second Hardy run.
Right.
Man, this is what I was thinking the other night when people were talking about Spider-Man, because somebody was like, yeah, you know, I grew up on the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and I was like, like, because like the second Tobey movie, like Spider-Man 2 is what, 2004, and that's like on my birthday, June 30th, 2004, and I was in high school at that point, so I'm like.
Crazy out here.
So was I. I saw that in high school. As a matter of fact, I saw the first one in high school. I saw the first Tobey one because I was in the 9th grade when that came out.
The first Tobey one just sounds funny.
And
Tobey.
I saw the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I walked. I remember that was the first movie I ever saw by myself. I was a freshman in high school, and we had the day off of school because I think it was Memorial Day that it came out. It came out May of 2001, I want to say. Or 2002, May of 2002. I had the day off of school, but my parents were working, and I was like, I called my mom. I'm like, can I go to the movies? And she's like, with who? I said, this is me. I just want to go see Spider-Man. She said, yeah, sure. You should probably go with some friends, though. And I'm like, don't worry about it. And,
Actually, I'm wrong. I'm even older. 2004, I was in college.
Yep. Look at you. Damn. They're just Asian us out here with these damn things.
I know, right? Yeah, we are, all of us.
Or even the ones that are like, I started watching wrestling in 2013. I'm like, and when?
Yeah.
That just sounds crazy to me.
I know. It ages me so hard. Like when Aubrey Edwards said, I started watching wrestling in 2011, I was like...
That's just like, what?
Wow. Yeah. Ooh.
And I'm like, you like it?
And you like...
Imagine coming in on Raw in 2011. Oh my, I don't like this. This is awful. I'm not watching this shit.
At least she came in for all of the Punk stuff. So
yeah,
that's true.
Jay Shell.
Oh, she is a really big fan of Punk too. That makes sense.
Jay Shell said she was born in 2004.
Babies.
It's crazy.
Y'all
out here,
are
man.
babies.
Born in 2004.
I did my first podcast on June 18th, 2005.
This one's been podcasting almost as long as you've been alive.
I know. She was one when I did the first RBR.
Damn it. And we did her podcast. Shout out to Jay Shaw.
Yeah.
Again, she's been a great supporter this whole time we've had Grapsody. All three of us are so appreciative of everything that she does. She's dope. She's killing it out there. She just got accepted to Spellman.
Hey.
Big shout out, man. That's
celebration.
Big celebration.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, you know, because I know the first one didn't work out. The first choice didn't work out, but you never know. And honestly,
someone come right around the corner with a giant, huge one right after. You never know, man.
So shout out Jay Shell.
So sick.
And finally, or I guess not finally, we got a couple more, but we'll start with
Ring of
this
Honor. Yeah, we're excited to see what happens. It's gonna be
it'll be
it's gonna be a crazy year. Oh
but all that talent everywhere.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it was a solid show, man. I mean,
it was. The final battle was fun.
Yeah, I mean, the Shane Kenny King match was probably my favorite match of the night.
That ladder spot where he dropped him on the package pile driver to the ladder, but it fell and they hit the ground. Oh my man, it's craziness going on here.
Yeah. Excited to see what Roxy does next. Like the Deanna match.
She's so young. Like Roxy's got so much ahead of her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Deanna showed up too. Yeah, they did a lot. They did a lot here.
It was it was a big celebration of Ring of Honor's history. All of the cameos, like, it was good. It was a good show.
Yeah.
But
And they say they're coming back April 2020, so we'll see what happens April 2022. 2022.
Yeah. Look, man. These motherfuckers went an hour.
Yeah, I think we should let Reg, open this one up because I think that's what people want to hear. Yeah.
What happened? So, okay, look, the match starts and then they're fighting. Bryan Danielson is like, no, you're not going to beat me. Hangman Page is here. It's just so much going on. At first, you're like, you don't know that it's going to go an hour, but if you know Bryan Danielson, you're like, he is up to something. Anytime he starts a match, like, you're like, this guy's really up to something. No, but in reality, these guys went an hour. It was amazing. I was standing up in my room for.
Were you clapping?
95%. I didn't clap one time. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't even like it. I thought it was dumb. No, it was a great, incredible match. Bryan Danielson brought the Bryan Danielson. I was thinking about it driving today. I'm like, this guy existed somewhere else. And they didn't let it. Imagine having like Tupac on your crew, but you just have him as a backup dancer. Shout out to Digital Underground. I know the correlations here, but imagine having a superstar and you just let him play the background. Like you have Picasso, but you're like, actually just use these pens over here and draw a menu for us. Or like, you know what I mean? Like you had Pablo Picasso on your roster and you didn't let him paint. And now we see him painting and we're like, oh my God, this guy is a genius. And he just proved it here with Hangman Page. Amazing match, 1 hour. I didn't do this cowboy gimmick. I'm going to tell you why I didn't do this cowboy gimmick. The reality of it is I live in Oakland and it's impossible to find cowboy stuff in December. Can I find a cowboy hat in Oakland in December for a bit?
In Oakland.
No, I couldn't. I didn't. So, yeah. But in reality, Hangman Page won the match or survived the match. They're setting up some rematch or something. Incredible contest. They did everything. They murdered each other. I laughed. I cried. There was blood. There was 6 spots. There was twists. There was turns. There was everything that you could ever want in a match. It started out Dynamite, and it was an hour, and Tony Khan's a madman. What did y'all think?
Hey, man. I'm just going to say that I don't think that Hangman survived that match. I think that Bryan survived that match.
Because that's true.
Bryan, when he realized what was happening, he rolled a little bit closer to the middle of the ring so that he couldn't get the pin, so that it would turn into a time limit draw, which was a fantastic piece of booking.
So good.
And that's why I'm like, man, Hangman's the guy. And if you didn't know going into this, like those cheers that Hangman was getting during this match, man, that guy's over, man.
This is it. I take it all back, Hangman. You did it, bro.
And Hangman had said in a couple of interviews that he was frustrated that he hadn't gotten to wrestle.
Yeah.
So like
everything I was saying, he was like, "You're right." So
yeah, he was like, "I'm not trying to do this. This is just
that." Was,
I show up to work and they're like, "You don't have a match."
Top tier performance right there. That's how you fucking do it.
Let me tell you a couple of things. The first time in 2019 that AEW ran the Curtis Culwell Center in Garland, Texas, I was like, man, I don't know how I feel about this building. It's so small, and like there are plenty of other places to run in Dallas. And they didn't fill it up, right? They had like 4,000 people show up. And then they ran it this past summer, and it was much better. They had like 5,000 people show up, and it was like, okay, I kind of get this building. Now, I don't think they should run anywhere else when it comes to Dynamite in Dallas, because
that crowd was fire.
When people talk about Dallas crowds, nobody ever talks about how live a Dallas crowd is. If anything, I always hear from people in Houston about how dead the Houston crowds are and things like that. Like Texas crowds typically don't come through, right? But a big part of that, I think, is the size of the buildings.
Yeah.
Because I've always said that you have a 6,000 seat building and you bring 6,000 people in, that sounds a whole lot better than a 10,000 seat setup where you brought 4,000 people in. That doesn't sound any good, right? This sounded amazing the whole show. And how live they were for Bryan and Hangman was it just brought the match to life. And I felt like everything about this just worked and clicked, and they had me on the edge of my seat. The way that Hangman was working in a way where it was like, I can keep up with Bryan, because Bryan was trying to do the heelish, like showing him up, like, you can't hang with me, and Hangman's basically, and at every turn is like, yes, I can. Loved it. I loved all of it. I thought just the action was so intense, and the story being told throughout made sense. The viewership numbers came out, and there's this piece of wisdom, and I use that word loosely because it's not correct, that wrestling matches don't draw, but you look at these numbers and the viewership grew throughout the match. And I feel like historically that's always been proven. Yep. Like the highest rated segment of Raw history is not a talking segment, it's a match. And because people like wrestling matches.
You mean it's not Mankind, This Is Your Life, like they keep trying to tell us?
No, like
they want us to believe
that's like the
so
highest
bad.
minute for minute, but it's just like people tuned in for all of like a minute and changed. But the highest rated segment as a whole is still Steve Austin versus The Undertaker for the WWF Championship. You give people a match with stakes, people want it. People want it. And the longer it goes, the more people get invested in it.
And now we have like social media where like if someone's saying there's a fire match happening on TV and it's going, people are gonna turn it on.
And they were in this match, and I was just captivated. I loved it. I had so much fun with this match. Did I love the ending? No.
I would have rather Bryan been pinned. I don't like it. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. Now, do I get why? Yes, I do. Because you got Battle of the Belts coming up, and if they're resetting the win-loss records on January 1st, then you need to have a contender established for that beforehand. And so, I think it was a case of we need to stretch this to Battle of the Belts.
We need to establish it. Okay,
we need to have him a contender before January 1st when the records reset. Because like Riho and Britt is locked in. Like if the women's records reset on January 1st, at least Britt and Riho is already set for Battle of the Belts. Right. You don't have to explain that. So we shall see how this goes, because Battle of the Belts is only going to be an hour, but Tony's not stupid. I think they're going to do like a buy-in or something on YouTube. And then have the other matches take place on like YouTube, and then because if it were me, I would do everything else as a buy-in, and then just do Bryan and Hangman on TV, and that's it.
2 hours. 2 hours.
I would just, if it's only going to be an hour special, I would say with the stipulation that there must be a winner, and then bring back the whole that they did at Full Gear 2019 with like the judges, maybe like must be a winner. If it goes to the hour time limit this time, like we have these judges at ringside just in case. But then don't actually do the hour this time, and maybe just go like 45 and have Bryan win. But I loved it. I thought it was great.
You said Bryan win? I like.
Oh no, sorry. Did I say Bryan win? Hangman win. Sorry, and have Hangman win.
I'm like, wait a second.
Sorry. No, I'm not with you on that. I think Hangman needs to win. Because I think the next few needs to be Hangman versus Adam Cole. And I feel like
I'm done with the bid. I think Hangman Page is the guy. Let him run with it.
Yeah. And
until like, I don't know. I don't think Adam Cole should beat him. I don't think
Cole should beat him, but I think that Cole is already assuming his spot as like the leader of the elite.
But the next guy after Cole should definitely beat him.
Yes. It's going to be MJF, right?
Yeah, no, it should be MJF. I agree.
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think the way that they're setting up the title picture going into next year looks good. Man, I just can't say enough about just how good this match is. I mean,
insane.
I said on Twitter, but we're talking about a guy at this point that's had like 4 potential match of the year candidates in Bryan. Like, come on, man! Like, in 3 of them,
wrestler of the year. Who's been better than Bryan Danielson?
Before September, I would have said, Kenny's wrestler of the year, easy. Yeah, like Bryan's had 16 matches It's like I can't argue. Yeah,
he's had 3 incredible matches with AEW that are like undeniably
on
great
TV.
matches. And I mean, I am a big believer that his last match with WWE was probably like one of the best matches of this year as well.
Yeah.
I know people are like, I'm not a big Roman fan, but no, that title versus career match was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Brian is Brian. Like he's gonna put on great matches. Like, but like this match was so good. Like him, every time Hangman would like try to repeat a move, and he would make him pay for it and counter it. Like there were just so many good storytelling notes they did in this match, man. Like I don't know, man. I saw people that are like, oh, the time limit draw makes it like, no, it does not sour this match.
And it plays more along into the thing because he had a time limit draw with Kenny Omega too. Like it's stories. Stories.
I'm going to steal a point from Twitter in that it flips that narrative. I mean, it flips that narrative on its head, right? Because the story before was that Brian couldn't hang with Kenny in 30 minutes, right? But now that story has been flipped by Hangman not being able to hang with Brian, and now it's like no one can hang with Brian in right now. The story right now is Brian is unbeatable.
Right.
You put a 30-minute time limit on there, and while Brian might not be able to beat you, you can't beat Brian. You put an hour time limit on, while Brian may not be able to beat you, you can't beat Brian.
Can't beat him.
And so
He's too smart.
I like the idea that right now Bryan Danielson is unbeatable. The best you can hope for with Bryan Danielson is a draw, but you can't beat him. And that is, like, I want him to come out on Wednesday, grab the mic, and say that. Like, nobody in this company can beat me. The best you've been able to get out of me is a draw. Kenny Omega, the best in the world, draw. The world champion, Hangman Adam Page, draw. Meanwhile, I've beaten everybody that's been in front of me. But in that middle, you got win, loss, draw, 0 in the loss column. Yeah, Bryan Danielson is that guy.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't understand. Like, I saw some people saying, like, oh, you guys like false finishes now. Like, first of all, a time limit draw is not a false finish. Like, it is not a non-finish.
It is a finish.
It is not a non-finish. It is a finish. It's not a non-finish. So,
you can not like the finish, but it's a finish.
It's not a non-finish. Like, and trying to imply that it's the same as people being mad at non-finishes with WWE, it's not the same thing. And the second thing is, we've only had 2 time limit draws this year. This is not something AEW does all the time. The reason why people got tired of WWE and non-finishes because we see them every week. So no, it's not the same
DQs
thing.
After a minute and 30 seconds, not a time limit draw after a 30-minute match or an hour match.
It's not the same thing. Stop with your false equivalences. Cut it out.
And this is crazy that historically our match TV, they called it a Broadway because it usually happened like somewhere no one was ever going to see. Like Ric Flair's going to go an hour, this person's going to go an hour. Like they don't do these things on TV because TV wrestling is fast. TV wrestling is what's next. And if it's the same segment for 5, 6 different segments, historically it doesn't happen. But when Bryan Danielson, the greatest pro wrestler of our generation, is in the ring, you got to do it.
That man is a lunatic. I mean, it's fascinating thinking about Brian just sitting around his house going, all right, what am I going to do next? Like, this is what's going through this man's mind of like, what can I do next that like is just some crazy ass wrestling shit. And I love that this Brian exists. I said for a long time, I said when he retired in 2016, Bryan Danielson is the greatest of all time. Actually, I said Daniel Bryan at the time. And the fact that Brian that exists today, and these are Brian's words, is better than any version he's ever had before.
That's crazy.
Absolutely the GOAT.
That's crazy.
He's so good.
I couldn't imagine in 2005 when I was a huge Bryan Danielson fan that in 2021 he would be better than that guy. And we'd get to see him as in the best version of himself against all these new current wrestlers is like
this is the opposite of what I was talking about with Edge, right? Like Brian is here and he's like, I want to work guys I've never worked before. and I'm going to do shit that I've never done before. And it's amazing. We got a whole bunch of super chats. So let's check these out. Going back to the conversation about years, we've got Rob says, I did 2 deployments to Iraq by 2005. We got Bam Fossils. Says, that was me about growing up. Amazing Spider-Man. Mac said, I graduated high school in 2004.
Same
Damn,
here,
I'm
Mac.
old.
Me too.
See, 2003 for me.
Oh my God, I'm the youngest on the show.
Yeah, young guy.
Because I graduated 05. So it's just 03, 04, 05.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm the one here with 2 kids. But to be fair, I had my daughter when I was 23. Like it's.
I was gonna say me and Phil's still in these streets, but I don't know if Phil's in these streets. I don't want to put that on Phil.
Like I was definitely a young parent, and I'm still the youngest parent, right? Like at every gathering.
There's like, is that your brother?
Like when I talk to all these parents, it is constantly like at my daughter's like birthday party she goes to and shit. I'm always the youngest parent around. Probably be the youngest at her high school graduation. But whatever. We have let's see, some more super chats. Jay Blood says Hangman and Bryan was an all-time classic. It made Hangman on another level. It felt seamless. Everything made so much sense. Beautiful. Yeah,
masterpiece.
Yeah, you know, I would have loved to have seen it, obviously, without commercials. But otherwise, like, I didn't watch it live, so I did have commercial skip. So I didn't have the experience with it that people watching it live did. But
that is frustrating when the match is going and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna take another break." I'm like, no breaks. Even though they're showing picture-in-picture, it's just not the same.
I actually did watch the picture-in-pictures, and then during the when it went to like break, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna zip through. Alexander said Reg was teleported to the movie theater for that match.
Seriously, standing up and clapping for all my favorite moves.
Max says, awesome match, disagreed with the ending, though. I mean, like I said, I know that not having
it's an acquired taste.
Definitive finish. I think it is good for Bryan's character, as I said. I think Bryan being unbeatable is a cool thing, because I like people who fucking win and are good at it.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm not really into that. And I want I like 1, 2, 3, or winner or loser. So, but I see it for the character.
Derek says, my favorite part of the match was the sequence where Bryan was trying to show him up and Hangman jumps the sweep and just kicks him. And Bryan was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I know. Like, Bryan being surprised that Hangman is as good as he is a great story. Ferthausen says, love the old school heel of Daniel Bryan, or you mean Bryan Danielson, going between the ropes and holding till 4.9. Hangman played smart. He never ran at Bryan Danielson hot-headed. Found his spots. Missed some, like jumping to the table.
Right. Like he has to make some mistakes as a new champion. That's what they were establishing there. This was like a masterful story being told with the shoulders and the ring post and the not allowing him to hit the buckshot lariat because his shoulders all beat up, and like, man, they just put this thing together.
Hannah said, just a warning, don't ever say he's the best on Twitter. Yeah, so me and Hannah both had Bryan post blow up. I think they both did like 2,000 likes this week, but mine didn't have anybody like jumping in it the way hers did because one, she's a woman, that's what people do on Twitter. But then two, I also didn't necessarily make the declaration. Any declaration, I was just like, Bryan. What did I say? I said 3 years ago, Bryan had come back to wrestling, and we were all kind of concerned about how much he could do. And 3 years later, we're just wondering what he's gonna do next. Because like, ain't nobody even talking about like, oh, you know, is Bryan safe? Like that. Nobody cares anymore. Nope. They're just like, what the fuck is Bryan gonna do next?
Go for it.
I don't know. Yeah, guys, stop coming from women's wrestling.
That's all it is. I'm gonna say like
Hannah,
I say almost a daily basis that Bryan Danielson is the greatest pro wrestler of our generation, almost on a daily basis, and no one comes for me because they are awful and they only attack women. Come for me, bro.
And the people that were
I will talk about it, bro. Let's roll.
And the people that were coming at Hannah too, the kind of shit they're saying too is that kind of like condescending mansplain kind of shit, right? Where they're like, oh, well, that's just because you haven't seen Bret Hart in his prime, and it's like,
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
shut
up. Shut up.
They're like, well, have you ever heard of Kurt Angle? And they're like,
I don't know. You
yes,
mean
I have.
the guy that everybody knows? Like, what are you talking about?
yeah. So it's just whack shit. Ferdhausen says Bryan Danielson wants that number 1 ranked spot. He is starting it with Chef's Kiss and 5-star matches.
He's the one.
Yeah,
no one's better
the one
this year or ever.
He the one.
Yeah.
Don't let those other guys at the other company.
No. Talk about it.
And Jay Blood says, if Cole is next for Hangman, can you imagine the pop when Kenny returns to run in and save Paige from an elite beatdown? That's exactly what I think is going to happen.
Right.
I think, I think when Cole is positioned against Paige and it's again Paige versus the elite, and then Kenny returns and it's like, whose side is Kenny on? And then, oh shit, he helps Hangman. Like, that'd be dope.
This whole thing is funny. I remember when we were doing the PWI list this year, and like Brian was I want to say low because he wasn't in the top 10. And I remember being like, if he goes to AEW, we're gonna have to change this. And so like, if we did this today, he would be number 1.
Number 1. He's absolutely like number 1.
And then that's
Any
also
category.
funny when I talked to Kevin originally about like why the list is composed how it is, why do they use a certain criteria? He's like, if we didn't use a criteria, Bryan Danielson would just be number 1 every single year.
Yep.
Yeah. By August, he'll be number 1 again.
Right.
Brian is calling you out though. He said, I believe Reg said he would talk like a cowboy.
I don't even know how to do that. What does that mean?
He's from Oakland, man. Come on, man. What are you doing?
California. I don't know that. I'm gonna get a cowboy hat.
Man, it's called the West for a reason.
Not that West. It's like West Side gang banging.
Gang banging.
Phil, no, he live in Chicago. Man,
Come on,
it's
man.
crazy.
We got a humper chat from D-Lo. He says, can we talk about how Goat Danielson skinned the cat with 59 minutes in? He did. That man got tossed over the top rope and then skinned the cat with seconds left. With seconds left in the match. Skinned the cat.
Brian's crazy ass could have went another hour, honestly.
Yeah.
He's insane.
40 years old out there just killing it, man.
Bro, come on, man.
And the other thing on the show was Sheeta and Deeb. And you know me, I'm a big Hikaru Shida fan. And I believe that everybody constantly has their best match with Hikaru Shida, and that's not a coincidence that when you get in the ring with her, you step up. And she gets you there. And that's not to say that Serena Deeb is any form of slouch, but when you have 2 of the best, they deliver. And I liked that this crowd, and it was very true for Rampage too. This was like one of the first Rampages where I felt like needed very little crowd doctoring, because Rampage, like that Dallas crowd was so live for Rampage 2 that the only edit I noticed was there were no shut the fuck up chants for Dan Lambert. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, this sounds fake. I'm like, you could see the crowd chanting shut the fuck up, but you can't hear it. And I thought, they fixed it, because I think the official rule for chants like that on network television is that when it's live and it was unpreventable, you're not required to do much about it.
Right.
Yeah, but in a taped environment where the swears are preventable, you have to do something about it. And for Rampage, they have to correct shut the fuck up chants at Dan Lambert.
Yeah, yeah, man. As good as Dynamite was, my only knock against it is that I don't think that should have been the main event. I thought they should have let the women main event.
I thought so too, and I thought they were going to. Like the way everything was set up, I was like, yeah, let Sheeta and Deeb main event.
Yeah.
And I love their sequences. I think their sequences are just so well done, and I like that they all played up on the previous matches. That they did the roll up sequence. From the first match where Deeb goes for, what is the name of her finisher? I keep forgetting the name, where she locks the arms and then hits the I forget what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. But
I feel like it's like something yoga related, and I'm just like,
I'm drawing a blank on the name of her finish. Somebody in the chat will tell us. But she goes for the finish, and then Sheeta reverses and flips her over, and then she reverses that into a roll-up, and then she quickly goes back to the roll-up position that she won the last match in, but then they roll all the way through, and she locks in the single leg crab, and it was like the Serenity Lock, by the way. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you. Like 5 people in the chat all chimed in with Serenity Lock. But
come on, wrestling podcasters, like come on,
do some research, you guys.
But yeah, and then when she hits the single leg crab, and like every single piece of that is a play on the way the previous 2 matches hit, right? Because the Serenity Lock is what ended the first match. The roll up was what ended the second one, and now we're here. I loved it. I love the ending sequence. I would have liked for Sheeta to have had a more definitive win, but I did like the whole.
If we're getting a 4th match, I'll take it.
Right.
She hit the jackknife pin and then but suspended her leg in the air because of the pain she would have been in. Otherwise, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, these matches are wrestlers matches right here. Just like the counters, the callbacks. Like it's just like these are 2 wrestlers. And they're going to do it, and they do it so well together. Oh, my God, it's incredible.
Yeah, really, really good match. I did feel like it should have closed the show. Like, I don't feel like we got anything by having a tag match last and having that, like that fake out with turning the lights out. Like, that didn't really do anything.
Yeah,
and I get they want to save the Punk pop, but, yeah, just let the women main event.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially because the last time that Bryan had a big opener that went to a draw, they did let the women main event. So my thought was,
They're gonna do it again.
Do it again. Yeah, do it again. And I have no problem with that. And I thought they should have, and they didn't. But either way, it was a great
match. And it looks like Phil was saying that we're going to get a 4th match. So
yeah.
Fight forever. And it's like this.
For whatever reason, I always laugh when Serena comes out and like her nickname is the Professor. I always think of the AM1 Professor
with the handles.
Yeah, it's great. I liked the match. And
I thought the Diamond ring, the finish was kind of flat, and I don't know why they're still going with this MJF thing. They only use the ring to. It does only matter sometimes. Like sometimes they'll forget about it for 2 months and then be like, "Oh yeah, he has this ring." And then sometimes it's every week. So
I mean, the match was great. I mean,
the match was great. Yeah,
Dante's season, bro.
He's there. He did it.
Mike says, Deeb. Yes, Sheeta Deeb 4 should final the Owen. Deeb goes over. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing about the Owen. I'm glad they announced the Owen for when they did, because I saw some people who were like, man, we're way off at Double or Nothing. That's in May. I thought, for one, think about the free agents who are going to be available by then. Like,
Yep.
If anything, this is fine by me, because I'm thinking like women's division. We just had a women's tournament. Like we're still in the middle of one right now, and I thought, what new could we offer? But then I thought, Athena is one that we can add to another tournament. Put
Layla Hirsch in a tournament this time.
Yeah,
come on.
definitely.
Yeah, you can do Layla Hirsch. Like, there's a lot more you can do, but there's also some more people to sign. We know that there's going to be some people signed next year for the men's tournament that may not be free agents till like February, because we've got Keith Lee out there, we've got Swerve out there. There's a lot of guys who all of a sudden, like this Owen tournament,
got a certain Gargano out there that
got Gargano
by then.
Yeah, like, you know what? I am perfectly good with waiting
we can let
months.
this one breathe. I think the AEW has a good track record of letting their tournaments breathe. They don't force them. They just like, you'll get it, and it's going to be great. And this one's going to be that one when all these free agents are free and not free anymore because they are signed with AEW. It's about to be lit.
Yeah. And the final thing on her topics. Look, man. Merry Christmas, everybody. Or Happy Holidays. Happy whatever you're having. All right.
Whatever you celebrate. If you're not celebrating, happy Saturday next Saturday.
Happy Saturday. What are you guys doing next week?
I don't know yet. I'm sure I'll figure it out as the week goes. Like,
what's a normal Lindsey Christmas look like?
Usually I go to my sister's house for like Christmas Eve and like kind kind of the dour note of it. Like since my mother passed, like I always kind of spend Christmas over there, and that's been like it's crazy to sound like that's been like since 2005. So like that's been a long time. So I'm sure that's what that's gonna be. Like my nephew wanted to do like Secret Santa for some reason this year, and so I like just remembered yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, I did pick somebody as Secret Santa. I have to get them the gift. And like I had to do that yesterday. And so yeah, man. Other than that, I don't know. But yeah, you know.
That's dope.
This Christmas seemed like it just like rushed up on us.
It's
like
so
it just
fast.
seemed like it happened really fast. Like
it's crazy.
Like there's still other gifts and stuff I have to buy. Like so yeah.
I'm like, bro, it was just Thanksgiving yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm driving back to Bakersfield. I'll be back next to the meth again. Congrats to me.
Meth.
I'm so happy. It's gonna be so cool. Yeah, I'm in Bakersfield. Who cares? Holidays are dumb, you guys. Yo, don't let these holidays get you guys down. The holidays are a big time for depression in a lot of people. Holidays are a big time for rough stuff. Do not let this shit get you down. It's just another fucking Saturday tomorrow or next Saturday.
This is true.
It's chill, man. Like if you don't have people or you don't have it, it's fine, man. Like a lot of people don't have people. We're all in here together. Hit some people up that are in the same as you and just enjoy it, man. Don't let this shit get you down. Don't think you have to get gifts for people. Don't succumb to this bullshit if you don't want to. And if you do, are you on the opposite side? You got your tree showing, you got your gifts, you got all like that. That's also great. So everybody just have a good time, man. Just don't let it destroy you.
No, he's absolutely right about that. And like everybody with depression out there, you know, you are seeing, you know. And I mean, I, of course, as an old person, as we talk about this whole podcast, is that the thing you realize, like, the older you get with Christmas, it's like the more you go around the sun and you get more and more Christmases, you celebrate more Christmases with people who are not here anymore, man.
Right.
It's kind of depressing, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is my first Christmas. My aunt passed of COVID earlier this year, so this is going to be the first one. And I'm still getting used to it because, like, she used to be so good about, you take the kind of stuff for granted, but every time I post something to Facebook, she'd always be like, oh, look, my handsome nephew. And I used to like roll my eyes and I'm like, come on, Aunt Janice. And she'd always post like all the heart emojis and all that. And like,
damn, I'm gonna have to go talk to my auntie on Facebook today because she be doing that same thing and I'd be like, oh my eyes.
Everybody's got that auntie that does that though, but she's not here anymore. And it is crazy that this person without her. You know, I will say, to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, parenting advice. Make sure you can follow through on your threats, parents.
Oh yeah, this is the cell phone thing. Did you make it?
Because not this one. This is worse.
Okay.
So sometimes when I get mad, I just say shit, and then I realize I can't back that up. And like my kids
so I can't be a dad, man.
Like my kids got in a fight the other day, and like there was some shoving and. One kid got shoved to the ground and all of that. And I got just mad and I was like, that's it. Christmas is canceled.
Christmas is canceled. Classic black dad.
And I'm
You're
like,
just going on to being your black dad.
And then within seconds, I'm like,
I can't say that.
I'm like, I can't hold that up. But I'm like, but I have to now because I said it. So I went through,
ripped the tree down.
I went through. I unplugged the tree. I unplugged the lights outside, and
he said we shutting down the Christmas.
My wife asked me. She's like, so how is this gonna work? And I'm like, look, man, I don't know. I just said it because I need to show them that like y'all can't just fight like this.
Right.
And so now I'm in the process of like creating mechanisms for them to earn Christmas back. Of like, all right, if you guys finish your dinner.
Same, man. Hey, it's a struggle out there.
I know, because like I said, as a parent, sometimes you just get frustrated. You just say things.
Yo, my mom canceled a couple Christmases. Yo, Christmas is not happening this year. But then on Christmas, the gifts are there all the time. But
yeah,
like,
well, it's like I already bought.
You got to make the threat though. Yeah, she's not gonna take all this shit back.
Yeah, I already bought all this shit. I think I did buy one thing that I do have to return just because. I found out it's on HBO Max, and I'm like, oh, well, never mind.
We get my money back, bro.
Yeah, we'll go get my money back. But other than that, like, nah, this is, hopefully they're not listening. But I can't hold up this threat. And honestly, I want my Christmas back. I spent 2 hours on my roof a month ago putting them lights up. Those are gonna light for the rest of the year. So, yeah, Christmas it's Christmas time. Speaking of which, join us on Fightful this coming Tuesday for a special Christmas special here on youtube.com/Fightful, and send those super chats around because they are going to benefit the staff of Fightful. So again, youtube.com/Fightful. Let's read a couple more super chats before we peace out of here for the year. We've got Ferthausen says, I want Cheetah versus Mercedes. Again,
me too.
And Mercedes said,
"Oh, Mercedes."
Yeah, she said that. She said the second AEW calls, I'm there. Like that's
Gotta get her for that tourney. Get her for that tourney.
Mike says, I'd love the Owen to be 32-person fields with everything on YouTube until the final 8 of each. Then everything is on TV with the finals on pay-per-view. I'm glad you're one of the people who like appreciates that. Like YouTube is the easiest way. It's the easiest way to consume content.
Yep.
I hate when people say, "Man, you're stuck on YouTube."
No, I like
man.
that.
Like there's people with more. I mean, more people have access to YouTube. When I think about a music video that drops and it does 3 billion views, you know, you put a Drake video up and it does millions of views, right? MTV at their heyday could not have asked for that many views on any one music video.
Way.
Like
Right.
music videos now do way better than they did at the height of MTV and BET. Like, yeah. And Pedro says, "What a heel turn from Will. No Christmas." Oh man,
He's
I
like
was
Puff on making the band.
Yeah.
We shutting down Christmas again.
Oh man, when you hear your kids just like coming at each other's throat, and the worst part is, I try to give my kids the benefit of the doubt. It's like I could hear them squabbling, and I'm listening, and I'm like, all right, let's see how this resolves. Let's see if they come to a peaceful resolution. And then I start hearing slaps, and I'm like, slap. And then I hear, ow,
Like,
stop
it. It came to fisticuffs.
Yeah, like, get off me. And I'm like, okay, well, we know where this is going. They're sweet kids, though. They're very sweet kids. Just to not each other. But
that's how it is, man. Beef.
Anyway, friends.
But let somebody beef with the other one, though. I bet you it's something else. So.
Oh yeah, they stand up for each other. Like I said, they're sweet kids to every adult, to everybody around them. It's just each other. That's where heads. But you know what? I had butted with my brothers, and I'm sure Phil, you probably same deal. Like all of us. I don't know.
Yeah. I was the youngest, so you know, always. I just thought about this because, you know, I feel like we dowered up Christmas with all of our depression and death talk. So I don't know, like, best and worst Christmas gift. Like, I don't know.
Oh, ever?
Ever,
I got to give my wife some props for remembering something I said when we first started dating. And that was that one day I just wanted to own an arcade. And last year, as you can see, I have the Mortal Kombat with the original artwork. That's Johnny Cage on the side. I have that Mortal Kombat arcade that I got last Christmas from my wife. She went to a custom. It's just running MAME on it, but she got that custom done for me, and I'm really happy. It's running all the time. That's Mortal Kombat 2 running on the background right there. And I thought like it would just be just like a prop in my basement that I'd never like actually use. But man, when I'm bored or just frustrated, I'll be frustrated with something and I'll just stand up and go hit the insert coin button and just play. And I love it. That was my wife. She outdid herself on that one. That's my best gift.
No worse?
Worst? Nah, I come from a family where like gift giving is our love language, and like we tend to just think good on it. Like, you know, I don't know. I can't think of a worst.
Yeah, best. I mean, of course, like just off the top of my head, like I always remember the Christmas I got the Sega Genesis because Sega was just the thing at that time, and like that was the year like I got my own Sega. I also had my own TV in my room, which was a big deal at that time. Like
especially if you're a younger child, like you said,
like if you were a kid at that age and you had more than one TV in your house, you felt rich. Like so, like I don't know, like that was cool at that time. Like worse, definitely like I got this sweater vest once, and it had like. And it had like the rabbits on the front, and like the rabbits had like googly eyes, and like the like actually googly eyes that moved. And of course, at that time when you were a kid, like your parent made you wear everything that you got for Christmas. And I'm like, oh, I'm not wearing this sweater. And like, of course, like there's a picture somewhere with my grandparents, and I have the sweater on, which now I laugh at it, and it's like this like great like memory, but at the same time, like this was like a horrible sweater.
Mine's along the same lines. I got a Super Nintendo. I think it was Christmas '95. I got a Super Nintendo with WWF Raw and Shaq Fu. It was litty. It was litty, boy. It was litty. Had a great time there. I remember that. But also that same Christmas, I got this. This is gonna age everybody. Dr. Dreadful. It was this. You make your own gummy worms or gummy.
Yes,
and it was just the worst. It didn't work. It was like I'm not doing this dumb science. You're ruining my life. Back to Super.
I
Nintendo
wanted that so bad. I just recently looked up the commercials for that just because I wanted to make some stupid potions and all that shit. Yeah, man.
Yeah, wasn't it called something else later, like creepy crawlers or something?
No, creepy crawlers were not edible.
Okay.
Yeah, you could make the creepy crawlers, but you couldn't eat those. Dr. Dreadful, you could
Dreadful
eat.
were the ones you could eat.
Yeah, Dreadful you could eat because I had creepy crawlers and they smelled terrible, but they like. Because like you see it on the commercial and you're like making these like gooey creatures and stuff and it's like cool, but you forget how like bad all that smelled. And like they always say smell is like the sense that is most tied to memory. So like just thinking about it, I'm remembering how bad it smelled. But I wanted Dr. Dreadful for the exact reason that when you could eat those, it was dope. Anyway. I gotta run. We'll read 2 more super chats. One more from Aaron. Random question. I recently discovered my love for Army of Pharaohs. Y'all got any Rex like that?
Army of Pharaohs? What's that?
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. So I was hoping you guys could answer.
Yeah, shout out to whatever that is.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We failed you on that one.
Yeah, failed you on that one. Mac says, this is my last Christmas before my daughter is here. Congratulations, Mac.
Hey.
He said, just going to spend it with wifey at home, avoiding Omicron.
Omarion.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. Okay, God, I'm glad I'm not alone there. Every time somebody brings it up, I just want to like dance into the scene, right?
Don't touch. Don't.
That is the best note to end. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to have a safe and happy holiday. Come back and join us in the new year. For Philip Lindsey, for Righteous Reg, I'm Will Washington. We'll see you next time, and have a great day.